Breaking news trending all over right now. Simon Ekpa has shown that prison is not a barrier, and this is what everybody is talking about today. My people, please, before I go deep into this gist, kindly like this video and subscribe to this channel right now so you don't miss any updates like this. Now, let us talk about what happened. Simon Ekpa, a man who has been making headlines for long because of his connection to the Biafra struggle and for the way he has been very outspoken, faced trial in Finland where he stays. The Finnish court found him guilty of very serious charges, and he was sentenced to spend years in prison. The charges included things like encouraging violent actions, spreading incitement, and even issues around fraud. For many people, this was a very big story because it was the first time an international court really moved strongly against him. But just after the news of his conviction broke, another wave of videos and stories started flying around social media. Some people started sharing clips that made it look like Ekpa was already free. Some even claiming he walked out boldly from prison. And that is why the headline is trending, that prison is not a barrier for him. But when you look at the real reports and verified information, those videos and stories were not correct. They were old clips or recycled content being shared again. Yet, you know how social media works. Before you blink, millions of people have already shared it. And that is why it looked as if Simon Ekpa had proved that nothing can hold him down. Once again, my people, as I am giving you this gist, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe right now. It helps us to keep bringing you the real news, not rumors. Now let us go deeper. Why did this matter blow so much? It is because Simon Ekpa has always been a controversial figure. For some people in the southeast of Nigeria, he is a hero, a voice they feel is speaking for them. For others, he is a dangerous man because his words and actions have been linked with unrest and insecurity in some places. Remember the sit-at-home orders that used to shake the southeast? Many people link that to Ekpa and his calls from abroad. Businesses shut down, families lost income, and violence sometimes broke out. So when news came that Finland convicted him, many Nigerians saw it as a major breakthrough. But then again, when those social media clips came out, some of his supporters started celebrating, saying he cannot be held, saying he is still strong even inside prison. You see, this back and forth is exactly what makes his story trend, because for every group celebrating his conviction, there is another group that believes he is still untouchable. Alright, let's continue the gist and carry it further. Remember to like this video and subscribe right now, because this gist is still very hot and you don't want to miss the updates. So, after the court in Finland gave their judgment, the Nigerian government also reacted. Officials in Abuja praised the Finnish authorities for how they handled the case, saying that it shows the importance of international cooperation when it comes to issues that affect peace and security. This is very important because it tells us that Nigeria is watching closely and may even be considering what next steps to take. For example, will they request for him to be brought back home to face charges here? Or will they continue to allow Finland handle it? These are the questions people are asking right now. But the more interesting part of this gist is not only the conviction, but the way social media turned the story upside down. Because while the court case was clear, Many people on Facebook, X, and WhatsApp were already saying, "Look, Simon Ekpa has shown prison is not a barrier. He is free again." And you know what? That is how misinformation spreads. A video from the past, maybe from when he was first arrested, can be recycled and presented as new. Before you know it, thousands of people are watching it, sharing it, and creating confusion. Now, my people, I need to remind you again, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because here, we don't just give you sweet gist. We also explain the truth behind the gist, so you don't fall for wrong information. Let's also talk about the human side of this matter. In the southeast of Nigeria, many families have been affected by the repeated sit-at-home orders and by violence that has sometimes followed. Schools closed, shops shut down, even hospitals could not operate properly. So, when they hear that the man behind those calls has been convicted abroad, some people breathe a sigh of relief. They say maybe now there will be peace. But at the same time, there are still those who believe strongly in the Biafra cause. And for them, Ekpa becomes more of a symbol, almost like a martyr. That means, even if he is inside prison, his name and voice continue to influence people. And that is why people say prison is not a barrier. Think about history for a moment. Around the world, there have been leaders who continue to influence their followers even while locked up. Their voice, their image, their message lived outside the prison walls. That is exactly what we are seeing play out again in this case. Even though Ekpa has been sentenced, his name still trends. His supporters still share his messages, and his critics still discuss him. So in reality, whether you agree with him or not, he remains part of the national conversation. But now, the bigger question: what next? Will this conviction weaken the movement, or will it strengthen it because his followers may see him as a victim? This is a critical point. Some experts say that when a leader of a movement is jailed, it can either silence the group or make them louder. Right now, it looks like the second option is what is happening online, because instead of the story dying, it is trending even more. Please, my people, don't forget, like this video and subscribe now. Your support helps us keep giving you balanced gist, not just the surface talk. Now, let me explain the timeline clearly so you can see how everything played out. First, Finnish authorities investigated him for a long time, gathering evidence. Then he was arrested, tried, and finally convicted on multiple charges, including encouraging violence and tax issues. After that, the court gave him a prison sentence. Immediately after the news spread, social media caught fire. Clips of him moving with escorts or appearing in public started circulating, making people believe he was already out. Fact-checkers then came in to explain that those videos were old and the conviction still stands. Meanwhile, Nigeria's government responded officially, praising Finland and hinting at more cooperation. This is the full chain of events, and it is important to understand it, so you are not confused by half stories online.